and what about the barn?
Oh, yeah.
Just one thing at a time.
Okay, I let time get away from us here a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And we will start with the pledge to the flag. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gloria, I'm hearing just a little bit of feedback. I don't know whose mic is hot.
Uh-oh.
Maybe we're okay. Okay, it may be me. Number 4. You turn me down just a tad. Okay, have my fellow board members had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting? I was absent.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make a
Got
motion.
one from Russell. Dolores, would you like to second?
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion from Russell and a second from Dolores to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Can I actually sign these since I wasn't here?
You're signing on.
Gloria, I don't see any funeral deeds. Okay. Okay, approval of, there are no funeral deeds, approval of adjustments, payroll vouchers, and monthly bills. Those were attached to the email that Gloria sent out. I'll entertain a motion to approve these documents as presented.
So move.
Okay, got a motion from Glenn. Can I get a second from somebody, please?
I'll second.
Jenny, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? One big thick one here, Gloria. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Main Street, Kiwanis, and the fire department, they have signed service agreements with us. Mike, are you here? Both the fire department and Kiwanis? Okay. The Kiwanis Club is receiving $3,000. And the fire department is receiving $12,500. You are. Thank you for your services. Appreciate it.
Both clubs, thank you for it.
You're welcome. Main Street, I will hang on to that, $500 for the flowers and the beautification here in town. See to it that Connie gets that. Thank you. Okay, Commonwealth update. Spencer, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I believe you all have a copy of the memo, just a brief update on our water and wastewater projects here in town. For our wastewater projects, the past 30 days, we had our monthly construction meeting on May 14th with the town, Commonwealth, Striegel, and USDA. And then Commonwealth met again with the town on May 28th to discuss how to proceed with the Striegel's proposal, the Sagar undercutting at the wastewater treatment plant. After that meeting, we proposed a limited notice to proceed via a work change directive, which I believe the town has signed and is now at USDA. Work change directive allows Striegel to begin the preparatory work at the new location at the Sagar. I believe Rachel is meeting this week, I think tomorrow, with USDA to discuss how to proceed with that.
Yeah, I think she's going to try to put together a phone call during our office hours.
USDA has approved all outstanding pay applications and all change orders for this project. At the lift station, the gas service was upgraded and the initial pump startup was held last week. Either will be out here again this week to finish that. Our next construction meeting will be this Thursday. It's listed as 1 p.m., but scheduled to 10 a.m. Closing meeting. For the water sampling project, going well. Sampling continues on a monthly basis, and I was here last week on the 3rd. Going to continue, I think, till September or October, and then afterwards there'll be a PAA, preliminary alternative analysis, to discuss any potential alternatives to alleviate any issues found during water testing. And for any regulatory updates, been more discussion on the termination or the continuation of the agreed order that was found on February 5th. I don't believe the decision has been made on that yet.
All right, any questions for Spencer? So our construction meeting is going to take place on Thursday, June 11th, whether it's going to be in the morning or the afternoon is TBD right now.
Yes.
There is a loan closing for the, is it the USDA loan, Gloria?
Yes.
For the wastewater project, Thursday morning at 9:30. You? And Russell or Glenn or Loris, one of you would be invited to come to that, but Russell would like to come. Is that okay? Right. That'd be Thursday morning at 9:30 at the town hall. Okay. Any other questions for Spencer? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the EMA multi-hazard mitigation plan. So Mike Snyder is at New Point tonight. I have looked at Alex's edits, and they appear to be mostly clarifications to me. And I think what I would like to do is we have an affirmative vote that we approve the edits that he's made to both of these documents. That way I can send them directly to EMA with his edits in there. Say, okay, now what do you guys think? We have approved the edits. We haven't passed the resolution yet. But, Alex, do you have anything you want to?
No, I don't have anything to add. There were just clarifications, as you mentioned, a few code citations I think needed to, and Bruce, what I'll call maybe apps, but items that worth, I think, maybe expounding upon, such as termination process and the situation where you have funding that comes from the state. How is those issues weren't included in the original? I thought they were probably made.
Okay. I got out of that is he's looking out for our interests, giving us a little bit of protection should funds reimbursement come. At least lobby for our share, for sure. Okay. So I'll make the motion that we approve the edits to both documents, the mutual aid and the resolution. But I go ahead and send them back up to EMA. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Take your pick.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion or questions? I think we have time to recycle these if needed. So it's not urgent that we have to pass this resolution tonight. It's time that we can get it up there, they can get it to the county attorney, they can look and see if they agree with what Alex said, and then it can come back. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay, park plan. Gloria? Kylie? So, let's see what we got here. Just tell me next slide and I'll punch the button.
Victoria Decker, and this is Kylie Sparks. We're with the Southeastern. Started working with the created park board September of last year. So we've spent this time getting public input on a park plan. We've got a few of your park board members here actually
Yeah,
tonight.
you're gonna need to get a little closer to the microphone. Be careful, because if you turned it up, on up.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
Good, okay. So we've been working with the park board to get public input, doing some research on your existing parks and maybe some future plans for it. So I'll let Kylie kind of take the first 10 slides and then I'll take the second.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So what we're going to talk about today, just some couple of topics up there. We're going to talk about the park, town, and history. We're going to give a brief overview, what we heard from residents, what the park board mission is, and a little bit about the park board since it was just newly established, their goals and priorities. And then current parks and programs. We'll talk about some budget and funding. The community profile of the town of Westport, and then the action schedule and next steps. So just some brief town and park system history. So Westport was founded as a small trading hub along the regional roads. That was in 1836. And then in 1968, Westport High School was closed. And this is where the park is currently at today. And then in 1986, the gazebo park was established on Main Street, and then the gazebo was then further put on there in 1990. And then in 2025, the park board was established, and then 2026, we're in now, we started developing the park plan with the community input. So up there is the park board mission statement. So the mission statement is to create a safe and engaging community area for all ages and abilities. Our town citizens and their families deserve a chance to enjoy an updated outdoor space to create a better quality of life. And then your park board members are Tana, which she's here, and then Becky also, and then Mike and Richard. And then their meetings, if you aren't aware, are the second Tuesday of every month at 5 p.m. at the Westport Town Hall. The current parks, the first one would be the Kiwanis Park right out here. Just a brief overview of that park. It is 1.31 acres. They have playground equipment, swing sets. As you can see, the baseball, softball field out there, 2 basketball courts, 2 pickleball courts. Their shelter house has 20 picnic tables, They have concession stands with the restrooms, the soccer and football field and volleyball court. And then there are 63 parking spots with 2 ADA. So that's just a brief overview of the Kiwanis Park. And then the other one is the gazebo one, which is a smaller space. It has the gazebo on it, and then which also has the Santa house, 2 benches, 12 parking spots, and no ADA accessibility. Some programs and community events that happen here in Westport. So the youth baseball, there's a spring summer event program that goes on, the Easter egg hunt, the car show and barbecue event, which is very popular in the town. Also the fall festival, and then the Christmas bazaar and the farmers market. So we just did an overview just so residents can see a collective what all goes on in Westport year round. And then just some demographic information. So the population of Westport is 1,393 residents. The median age is around 38. And then the median household income is $49,129. And then 22.7% is the poverty level. So just some takeaways from that. With it being, with the medium household income being at that level, we want to try to keep, from the plan, we want to try to keep programs and events at affordable cost for residents, so everyone can join and not feel excluded. ADA accessibility facilities are definitely needed with the disability rate there. And then some other thing, and that we also like figured out too, with the median age being 38, which is higher, a little bit higher in that range. The aging population needs walking paths and shade. And then just some natural features and environment. This was also a component of the plan that we researched. So you guys have flat lying ground, but then also some rolling terrain. The flat lying ground obviously would be good for your playgrounds, your sports fields, and then family recreation. The soils are definitely suitable for development with caution near the floodplain and creek areas. People do put parks in floodplain areas, but then with the mindset of, if there's a flood, we got to maintain this as well. So keeping maintenance back for that. And then water resources and flooding. You guys are surrounded by the Wyalusing Wyalusing Creek. And then the floodplain is along that channel. So just keeping that in mind again for the future park sites. There is an area down there by the creek for park space. So just being careful if restrooms are added, just making things built to be obtainable or to keep maintenance on those features. And then some endangered species along with our research too that we found was the Indiana bat. It's a long-eared bat, and then the whooping crane, and then the monarch butterfly. And some things just to keep in mind for these endangered species, lighting would be a big thing. Lighting would need to be tilted downwards instead of straight on towards trees, because that would hurt the bats, their eyesight. And then another thing would be adding a lot of pollinator gardens and flowers for the butterflies to attract them for just the natural habitat for the park additions. We also did an accessibility assessment. So the current state for accessibility, the shelter house meets ADA standards. The community building has 2 ADA entrances. The 65-inch asphalt walking paths were added recently. And then the fence panel was installed for the basketball court for wheelchair access. And then ADA plates were installed at the park entrance with CCMG funds. So proposed improvements based on that current state would be a new ADA compliant playground with equipment and surfacing, accessible routes for connecting all amenities, ADA compliant restroom replacement, accessible picnics ADA at the shelter house, and then also making the gazebo and Santa house ADA accessible. So you can see this dollar amount here at the bottom of this slide, $171,000 and $150 for, this would be for upgrading the playground, making it fully ADA accessible, like with a decent sized playground, and then all surfacing, and then the border around the playground too, which is a large number. The good thing is it's not something that has to be done ASAP, but just something with all of that lump sum. And a lot of times things are phased out throughout the years. So not like it's a initial thing that needs to be done. And then next, talking about walkability and connectivity. So this buffer here shows how the radius of walkability to the current parks that you have. So as you can see, there's also an other side portion of the town that's not included. So this is a good overview of showing those other potential sites, as we'll discuss further in the slides, of the Kathleen Circle, and then maybe a park at the dam as well will capture the other side of town. So 75.3 residents want walking and bike trails. So walkability obviously is a must and a need. And then I will pass it to Victoria.
Okay, like I said, we tried to do a lot of public input. The park board really helped. We released a survey. We had public engagement boards that were rotated in different locations, and then had focus group meetings to really gauge what the input is on the park system. So we had 187 people respond to the online survey. 55 people interacted with the engagement boards. 57 people attended the focus groups. And just from all of that, we saw that a total of 72.5% of people strongly supported further development of the parks. This is a good snapshot of what people wanted to see. So obviously playground equipment upgrades are high on the list of needs. Shortly behind that, rec and event amenities, people saw a need for that. And then walking trails and so on. So this just gives you an overview of what people want to see wise in the parks. Just some survey highlights. 98% of people have visited the Kiwanis Park in the past year. 68% primarily visit for events or festivals. 51% use the playground. 55% say that maintaining and upgrading the existing parks is top priority. 58% want to see some sort of art, craft component, cultural events. And then 97% really want to see safe, clean facilities, which is a brainer. We then looked at doing a SWOT analysis with all of the data we collected from residents to see really what those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats are. Really strengths, we'll see that there is a strong community support. Again, we had 72% strongly support investment in the parks. 98% visited the parks. People saw the central location as a positive. There's an active volunteer base with the Kiwanis and their involvement. Some weaknesses, obviously the aging, outdated playground equipment was high on that list. There is limited ADA accessibility, and then no walking trails or just connectivity. Some opportunities, we did see a high demand for trails, so that could be a future opportunity. Some people wanted to see splash pads, skate parks, dog parks. So we have that on there. And then development at the dam and the covered bridge area, utilizing that a little bit more. And then obviously opportunities are grant funding. So part of having a 5-year master park plan opens up the window to allowing for future grant applications that you could be eligible for. Some threats. There is limited funding, obviously locally. The Kiwanis has done a great job maintaining the parks, but money can only go so far. Everything is very expensive. And then competition from nearby communities. We did see on the survey a lot of people visit Rebecca Park. That seemed to be option for people to go visit. And then just the idea that equipment is going to continue to decline if we don't.
The LWCF acronym and the opportunities, what is that?
It's Land and Water Conservation Fund.
Thank you.
So it's grants from $250,000 up to $1 million that a community can receive if you have a master park plan.
Okay, thank you.
And then we also did some benchmarking. So we looked at, this was kind of difficult to do, similar communities. They want to try to get close, as close as we can, but it was really hard to do that for Westport. So we have some other communities on here, Odin, Parker City, and Albany, just to give you an idea of how you compare population-wise, acreage-wise, what they have with parks compared to you, what their annual budget is. And then what's really interesting is the spending per resident. So based on their budget, it breaks down how much money per resident you're spending in your park system. So Albany, for instance, I think is more of a newly created park board, and I think they've done a lot recently. They actually have a splash pad. So they've done some fundraising and to get their budget up to really get that number to where it needs to go. And then the park board discussed, based on all of this input, what are their goals for these next 5 years. So those are listed here, what they came up with, creating a dynamic plan with guidance for the next 5 years, leveraging that for grant opportunities, improving ADA accessibility, upgrading seating and amenities, and partnering with a playground supplier to create a safe playground. And then we have derived from that an action schedule. So not to say that they absolutely have to do this, but kind of prioritizing what we look at short-term, medium-term, and long-term in investment in the parks. So really looking at an ADA transition plan to define what is actually needed and how we start tackling adding in more ADA parking spots, making the playground ADA accessible, picnic tables, and maybe installing some additional benches, trash cans, again, partnering with that playground vendor, and possibly looking at a parking study to really see how you can incorporate additional ADA parking and make it safe and medium term, looking at the playground project, so a full renovation of the current playground, making it ADA accessible, possibly a shelter house at the dam property, some pet-friendly improvements, and updating some signage. And then long-term, maybe looking at some trails, planting some trees, because we know that shading is important, and don't have that, you limit the hours that your park is really available to people. ADA compliant restrooms, and just exploring additional amenities. This is just a budget and funding overview. So this is currently the budget breakdown. And then on the right-hand side, a list of grant opportunities. So our hope is that the current yearly budget will increase over the next few years. Again, that's going to be with fundraising and the park board working to try to accumulate some additional funds to make that happen. And as Kylie said earlier, that half-mile radius map, you really should be able to live in Westport and be able to only walk a half a mile to access a park. So with these potential park locations, that would essentially cover all of your residents. You do still have your barrier with the main road going through and people on one side or the other, but Kathleen Circle is a possibility. It's a green space currently, and then obviously the dam area and capitalizing on that water access. Okay, so I know that was a lot. So just some next steps and how you can get involved. So after this presentation, this will kind of be under public comment period until June 26th at 5 p.m. So We have a couple of copies of the plan. We'll leave one here at the library and have one at Town Hall with some comment sheets. And then also there are some flyers with QR codes. You can access it digitally online and have comments there. I know Tana plans to post it on Facebook as well. So multiple opportunities for you to access the full plan, which is about 120 pages long. About 60 of those are the appendix, so you don't have to read through a ton of it. And then you'll submit those comments by June 26th, 5 p.m. And then hopefully we'll get it to DNR by July 1st for them to review it and approve the plan, and then we'll be open and ready to start looking at grant applications. The board will do quarterly plan reviews just to kind of tackle these items and prioritize what comes next. And then just a ending point, any volunteer opportunities, I'm sure Juana's and the park board.
I do have a question for you. Would this be a good point? I've discussed with Gloria creating a non-reverting fund to receive park donations.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to compete with Kiwanis Mike, but we've had a couple people ask about donations specifically for the park, and we do not have a protected landing spot for them right now. And I think now is the good time to go ahead and create that so we can start receiving those donations. And I think the buzzword language is non-reverting fund. They stay safe, disappearing after year.
It wouldn't go into the general fund
right.
after the year end.
They'd have to be used for,
It has to be appropriated and can
Yes.
be used for the purpose of the non-reverting.
so maybe we could come up with something for next board meeting on that, Gloria? Okay. All right, any other questions from the floor for Victoria or Riley? Thank you so much. I like the summary, really good. Anna and Becky and Mike and Richard Young, thank you for all of the work. Dolores, I think you've been riding shotgun in a lot of the meetings. So this is a marathon, not a sprint. So we're headed in the right direction now, I think. All right. Thank you. Jody is not here.
She's not. We're going to cover.
Okay.
We offered since we were going to be here anyways.
Okay, Okra presentation for the water tower project.
Okay, so we have for your consideration our contract for services. This is for the most recently awarded water grant project. So our contract is 8% of the grant amount plus $5,000 for admin and $5,000 for labor standards. This is the dollar amount that was included in the original budget for the grant application and is paid out of the local funds that were already committed. So if you have any questions or.
No. Do you have we just need to vote? Is there an agreement that
Yep,
we need
I have
to?
2 copies, or both for you to sign, and then we can take one with us. And you can.
So this is all, for the rest of my board members, this is all included in the part of the, not park plan, in the water tower budget and the proposal that was approved. I have got no problem. Alex, should we review this?
I would like a chance.
Yeah, I know Jenny likes to.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, so this will be a budget or a agenda item for next month. I can get this scanned and get it out to all the other board members, but this should be a
Sure.
no-brainer.
Okay.
Does this need to go to you, Alex, you think?
I'd like to take a look at it
Okay.
and provide any input.
Okay, all right. Gloria, remind me tomorrow, office hours. We'll get this scanned and get this out to everybody. Thank you, Victoria. Okay. Public nuisance ordinance, second reading. I wasn't here for the first reading, but Mr. Gant isn't here. We did get in section 3, in defining public nuisances, we exempted businesses lawfully operating pursuant to all federal, state, and local permits and licenses. We also exempted the controlled burning of natural yard waste, including tree limbs and leaves, when conducted in compliance with applicable law and during daylight hours under proper supervision. Thank you, ladies. Travel safe out there. And then the third exemption was properly supervised backyard fire pits, campfires, or grills used for customary residential or recreational purposes, providing such activities are conducted in a safe manner and in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. I think that was really and since first reading, there have been no additional changes. Russell, I was told that you abstained.
Yes.
From voting. My intent with this, and I think the rest of the board's intent, you can correct me if I'm wrong, save Russell, is to give our law enforcement another tool in their arsenal to possibly combat maybe some gray areas. So this helps them and gives them another tool to maybe go after some difficult properties or practices. Or anybody else have any comments before I call for the second reading vote? Do I have to read this whole thing for second reading? Do I need to open it for public comment?
I would recommend opening it for public.
Okay, so we will open the nuisance ordinance for public comment at this point. Anybody would like to come up, you can speak to it. This has been ongoing now, no months, I don't know how many months exactly.
Several.
This has
Well,
been through-
and it's not just for the law enforcement officer, I mean, if as citizens, we don't know what the rules are, we can't, we can't abide by them. So this clearly states what you are and aren't allowed to do so that you can stay within it.
Anybody? Okay, we'll close the, need to get a motion and a vote to comment, or I just, okay, we will consider the public comment for the nuisance ordinance closed at this point, and I will entertain a motion to approve. Is 2025-10 a good number on this? That's the one that's on the copy I've got.
I think that's when it originally started.
That'd be October, or the 10th one in 2025. Is the number okay? We need
I
to-
think the number's okay.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2025-10, the nuisance ordinance, on second reading here.
I think that,
Okay, got the motion from Dolores?
yeah.
Have a second?
Second.
Second? Okay. Now, for the vote, those in favor of approving the nuisance ordinance on second reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Any nays?
I will abstain.
Okay, we have 1 abstention. So the ayes have it. Ordinance 2025-10 is approved. Okay. Ordinance 2026-2, establishing schedule of fees for certain services. I believe this is a formality, and it passed on first reading, or first reading was approved or whatever. And it is coming up for second reading again. I don't think there's anything contentious in here. It puts into writing fax fees, overdraft and return payment fees, town hall rental fees, accident reports, copies, police photographs and digital reproductions, VIN checks, notary public fees, things of that sort. Does any of my board members have any questions about this? I don't believe it has changed. Okay, I'll open up public comment for the ordinance establishing and authorizing the schedule of fees for certain services provided by the town of Westport. Any public comment for this? Gloria, did this come up, was this a State Board of Accounts recommendation to put
Yes.
all this in writing?
Yes, a couple of things have changed. The police department accident reports have increased over the years,
Okay,
and we had not updated that.
Okay.
And they questioned the notary and wanted us to identify what we were charging notary for, which is for public services.
okay. Got it. All right. I will close public comment on ordinance 2026-2. And I will entertain a motion that we approve ordinance 2026-2 on second reading for all these fees that are all now up to date.
So move.
Okay, got a motion from Glenn. Can I get a second? Got a second from Russell. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that one passed unanimously. Okay. Amending the ordinance 2025-6 regarding water rates. So since we approved this on first reading last month, or you guys did, I wasn't here, we have had some pushback on the water rates. So I think at this time, this would be a good time to open it for public comment. Ordinance 2025-3. Damon, do you? Yeah, come on up.
If it's allowed, Alex, somebody has asked me to speak tonight.
Fine.
Okay. One of our biggest purchasers of bulk water gave me a call this weekend, spoke to him for a while. I don't know the other water companies' rates or where they get it from, but he's saying that we're already a little bit higher than them, but he prefers to spend his money in a small town and support us. But he did say if we raise our rates, that he will not be back to Westport to purchase water. He's one of the two biggest buyers we have every year.
Okay.
So I have
Okay.
to deliver that.
Gloria, do
Yes.
you have anything to add?
I would say that I had heard Clayton Carter through CCC Trucking had spoke out to a couple of our employees stating concerns and that he would be moving his business elsewhere due to the cost and the convenience of location versus the difference in cost being cheaper other places. And then Ronnie Oliver came in on Wednesday and spent about half an hour expressing his concern about it. And he gave me a lot of specifics. I followed up on those specifics and was able to verify what he said. Currently, Bartholomew County offers 2,500 gallons of water for $6. You do have to go through quarters. It's a quarter dispenser to get it. But his concern was that a lot of his customers are well users and he already gives them a discount. And if we raise the prices, he would have to go a little farther to drive to get cheaper water to be able to accommodate for some of those. And he hates to cut into his customers' cost of what they have to already pay because it's well water. It's water that they need. It's not for swimming pools necessarily. Yes, he does have a lot of swimming pool customers, but his concern was for his well water users that he's pumping water and carrying it for them. I perceive that to be a genuine concern, and he told me that Greensburg dispenses a bulk quantity, again, of 2,500 gallons, and they charge 22 versus right now we charge 20. If we raise it, we would be then charging 30, and 30 to him seemed quite a bit more. And so he would end up driving to Greensburg to get that water versus staying here to pick it up.
Yeah. So for my fellow board members, I think at this point, I'd be willing to pump the brakes on this a little bit. There is something in this modification that corrects the unmetered flat user fee of $89.12 per month. Alex, do you have a recommendation on how we might proceed on this? I am willing to strike the bulk water sales from this completely. Go ahead and pass the unmetered rate because it's just a correction. The bulk water did go from, in this, it goes from $1 to $1.50. I'm willing to,
What was the motive of us increasing it in the first place?
well, I was under the impression that our pricing was out of whack,
Okay,
but I did not have physical data to back that up. Now we've got some data. So how long has it been $1?
It's been $1 for many, many years, probably since the 90s. I don't know if it was ever less than $1, but we priced several facilities last year because during the wastewater rate study, there was talk of whether we should have raised it. Mark Taylor questioned it a few times and asked if we should be raising it because we never raised the rate during our last rate increase in 2020 and 2021. So there had been a lot of question. We did do some call arounds comparing costs to other facilities that were dispensing bulk water. And it seemed comparable at the time, but I don't know how long ago this Bartholomew County quarter dispenser showed up. I don't know if we just missed some of that history when we've done it. And at this point, we've not been cited by State Board of Accounts or anything. I think we have the leeway to decide whether to move or not with it.
I think I got a little bit ahead of myself too. I'll take some of the blame.
I think he's
Yeah,
refusing.
Brian?
Got a suggestion there, something that we thought about. Got a handful of contractors that buy, all year long. Maybe think about giving them a break on their water, over a certain amount, certain gallons. They have to buy so much a year.
I think it's what Greensburg does.
They
isn't
get
it?
this rate, but your average person is coming in buying
Right now,
a
it's
couple hundred gallons at a time.
Yeah, it's $1 per 100 gallons
I don't
flat.
think $1.50, for 100 gallons is out of reason if you're just filling a hot tub or a
Right.
swimming pool.
Right,
You may only be doing it once or twice a year, but
yeah,
these guys are, they've got fuel costs that they're incurring and
Yeah.
stuff along with that. So help them guys out to kind of keep them,
right, exactly.
around.
Yeah.
I mean, just contractor pricing. They have to buy so many gallons a year.
Yeah,
Or they're, if they're buying over farmers too, they may come in and buy 5 or 6 semi loads. Maybe give them, if you buy over a certain amount, then you get a break.
right.
Just my 2 cents.
Okay. Alex, you have a recommendation on what we could do?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of options. One would be to do as you suggested, a motion to amend the ordinance to remove section 2, which is the bulk water rate established section.
Right,
If the council approves that motion to amend and remove that section, then the council pass on second reading
remaining piece of the ordinance,
the remaining
section
C
1.
ordinance, and at a later time, council could table the entire ordinance, or it could move forward with putting on the ordinance. I think
Gloria, the $89.12 flat rate, is this a documentation exercise that the people are already getting billed at this rate?
Yeah,
And
this
updates?
is to correct our water rate that we passed in December. and it was a documented error. I was trying to think, what's the word? It's not grammatical,
Yeah.
but it's numbers. The number of the flat rate was incorrect because the person, Mike Novak, that did our study, based it on our last water rate, but we had a wastewater rate after that, and they included an increase in the wastewater rate. So then that made this one lower than the last wastewater rate, and everything was supposed to be increased by 2%. Sorry. So this is just to correct the flat rates.
Okay, nobody's bills are going to change as a result of
Nobody's
this.
bills are changing.
Okay. That was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. I would, just talking out loud, which is dangerous for me to do, I would kind of like to just strike section 2 from this ordinance and just move forward with the correction of the flat water rate. That leaves the bulk water at $1 per 100 gallons still, and we can come back and revisit it summer next year whenever we want. Or we take it up to $1.10 instead of $1.50 or whatever we decide. I like Brian's idea of coming up with some kind of graduated bulk scale. If you buy so much, you get a break. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, I'll make a motion from ordinance. We have to open public input again. I will close public input on ordinance 25-3. I will make a motion to strike section 2, bulk water rate, just delete it from this ordinance. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Just
Dolores?
a question.
Sure.
These rates are somewhere else
Yes,
listed.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The current rate of $1 is listed in our current.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I made the motion, Dolores seconded to strike section 2 from ordinance 2025-3. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please. Aye. All opposed? Okay, section 2 is now stricken. So that leaves section 1 as the only thing that is in here, where the unmetered flat rate for users is $89.12 a month, which is the current billed rate. And this updates the documentation to match that. So I'll now make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-3 with metered flat rate change. Make that motion. Can I get a second, please? Second reading. Jenny, seconded it. Any questions? So we are passing ordinance 2025-3 with only section 1, the unmetered flat rate change. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that was easy enough. Second reading is approved. Damon?
I have nothing further.
Okay. Are we making water?
When we go from, our water is fed from the water plant to town. So when we switch to county water, it's fed from up north. So anytime you change the direction of the water flow, want to kick up settlements, iron and stuff in the pipes, it's in everyday water that you drink, even bottled water, believe it or not. So that's why you see a discoloration. The water's still safe, it's all still tested, it all still meets the lines, but it does have a little bit of color, and that's what causes that. What you believe, or the people on Facebook that guide people or their opinions out there, but I just want to make sure everybody knew there was not a water quality issue. Yes, we are back online now. I've been since Saturday.
Okay.
I think it was Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And the issue we had when nobody had pressure, it was that Friday night. Again, bulk water. We were selling so much bulk water that the pressure, when we're on our water here in town, we run off the pressure of the water tower. When we run off county water, we're on the pressure that's provided through their lines. And with as much water as we was selling that day, their pressure couldn't keep up. Basically trying to suck the lines dry by using water in town plus selling bulk water. So we ultimately had to shut the bulk water down. We're going to open back up tomorrow. I was going to today, but I was off today. I want to be around for it, make sure everything went okay. So tomorrow, bulk water will be going, and that's the reason everybody lost pressure Friday night. That's what we think anyway. If we have no leak nowhere, and that's the only thing we can think.
Thank you.
Thank you.